Have you ever wondered why some people manage to build real wealth even if they didn't start with money, while others spend their whole lives working hard and still end up broke? I used to ask myself the same thing for years. And then I discovered a man whose words changed everything for me. His name was Jim. He used to say that real financial education doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your eyes. Yes, your eyes. The eyes that see beyond appearances. The ones that recognize opportunity where others only see problems. The kind of vision that isn't fooled by shiny things, but is focused on real value. Freedom, peace, and independence. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 12 most powerful eyes of financial education. And once you learn to see through them, nothing in your financial life will ever look the same again. You'll stop chasing money, and it will start chasing you. So, if that message speaks to you, go ahead, hit the like button, drop a comment below telling me what's holding you back financially, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, let me guide you through the vision Jim gave me. Let's open your financial eyes. If you're happy with this English version of Chapter 1, I'll continue with Chapter 2, Context. Who Jim was, and why his teachings still matter today. Shall I move forward? Chapter 2, Context. Who Jim was, and why his teachings still matter today. Before we dive into the 12 financial eyes, I need to tell you why I trust Jim so deeply. Because once you understand who he was, you'll realize that this isn't just another money guru talking. This is a mentor whose words created millionaires and shaped minds for generations. Jim didn't come from wealth. He didn't have a silver spoon or a shortcut to success. He started as a broke farm boy in Idaho, but what set him apart was his hunger for knowledge and his discipline to apply it. He met a mentor early in life who changed his thinking completely. From that moment on, Jim dedicated his life to understanding how wealth is really built. Not by luck, not by gambling, but by working on yourself harder than you work on your job. That's something he repeated constantly. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Why? Because money doesn't solve problems. People do. And when you become the kind of person who attracts abundance, wealth is simply a reflection of who you become. Jim taught that success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. That idea shook me because I realized I was chasing the wrong thing. I was focused on the paycheck instead of my perspective. He believed education wasn't just about school. It was about learning how to think, how to make decisions, how to delay gratification, how to master emotions like fear, greed, and laziness. That's why I say Jim was more than a financial educator. He was a mindset architect. And once I began to truly absorb his teachings, my life began to shift. He didn't just teach me how to make money. He taught me how to keep it, grow it, protect it, and most of all, deserve it. And if you give me your attention until the end of this video, I'm going to hand you that same lens, that same way of seeing. Because what you're about to learn doesn't just come from theory. It comes from a man who walked the talk and helped millions do the same. Now that you understand who Jim was, let me introduce you to a concept he never spoke about directly, but that lives in everything he ever taught. The 12 financial eyes. The 12 ways to see the world that separate the broke from the wealthy. Ready to open the first ones? Let's go. Chapter 3. The 12 eyes. A new way to see financial reality. Let me explain what I mean when I say the 12 eyes of financial education. Obviously, we don't have 12 eyes on our face. But what Jim taught me, and what I want to pass on to you, is that wealth starts with perception. The way you see the world determines how you move in it. And if your perception is limited, your results will be too. These eyes are mental lenses. Different ways of looking at money, value, time, people, risk, and responsibility. And the truth is, most men go through life financially blind. They see work, they see bills, they see pressure, but they don't see opportunity. They don't see leverage. They don't see compounding. They don't see themselves as the solution. That's why this concept is so powerful. When you open these eyes, you begin to interpret your reality differently. And as Jim always said, when you change how you look at things, the things you look at change. Each eye represents a shift, a realization, a new understanding that breaks you out of the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and puts you on the path to financial independence. And let me warn you, once you open them, you won't be able to go back. You'll start noticing patterns in your behavior, in your relationships, in your decisions, and you'll wonder, why didn't I see this before? But that's the beauty of awareness. Once it starts, it spreads. And in this video, We're going to open one set of eyes at a time until you see, as Jim saw, until you think like a builder, a creator, a man who doesn't just survive, but thrives. So let's begin with the first three eyes. The foundation of financial clarity. The ones that open your mind to the truth behind money. Let's start seeing. Chapter 4. Eyes 1 to 3. Vision, value, and time. I won the eye of vision. Most people only look at what's right in front of them. The paycheck, the rent, the next expense. But the first eye Jim helped me open was the eye of vision. It's the ability to see beyond the moment, to look 5, 10, even 20 years ahead, and let that future version of yourself guide the decisions you make today. Jim used to say, we all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Vision helps you choose discipline because when you can clearly see what's at stake, you stop wasting time. You stop buying nonsense. You stop chasing applause. And you start building a future that actually matters. Without vision, your money dies in the present. With vision, it multiplies for the future. I too, the eye of value. This one was a game changer for me. Jim taught that money doesn't go to the person who works the hardest. It goes to the person who provides the most value. Let that sink in. If you're earning just enough to survive, it's not because you're not trying. It's because the market doesn't yet see you as a person of irresistible value. That's not an insult. It's a wake-up call. You have to see yourself as a creator of value, a problem solver, a builder, someone who gets better with time, sharper with experience, and more useful to others. Because value is what moves money. And until you open this eye, you'll stay stuck thinking it's all about effort. It's not about effort. It's about results. That's what people pay for. That's what builds wealth. Eye 3, the eye of time. This one stings a little, but it's the most sobering truth Jim ever shared. Poor people waste time like they have an unlimited supply. Wealthy people treat time like gold. Time is your most valuable asset. Not your car, not your home, not your bank account. Time. And here's the twist. It's the one thing you can't earn back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So ask yourself, where's your time going? Scrolling, complaining, avoiding decisions, or investing? Learning, building something that compounds over time, because Jim taught me that the rich don't just invest money, they invest time wisely. If you can master this eye, everything else becomes easier. Your priorities change. Your focus sharpens. You stop trading your hours for comfort and start trading them for freedom. Now that we've opened the first three eyes, vision, value, and time, you're already ahead of 90% of people. But we're just getting started. Let's move into the next set. The eyes that unlock money, flow, leverage, and emotional mastery. Ready? Money flow. Chapter 5. Eyes 4 to 6. Money flow, leverage, and emotions. Eye 4. The eye of money flow. Jim used to say, the rich have their money working for them. The poor work for money. And when I heard that, something clicked. I realized I had no idea where my money was going, let alone how it was flowing. The eye of money flow is about understanding that money should move through you like a river, not a puddle. If your income comes in and it's gone by the end of the month, you're stuck in the trap. You're not controlling your cash. Your cash is controlling you. When you open this eye, you stop asking, how much do I earn? And you start asking, how do I keep it flowing toward freedom? You track your spending. You cut the leaks. You reinvest in yourself. You build streams of income. Because when money flows in only one direction, you're a consumer. But when it begins to circle back to you consistently and intelligently, you become a creator. The eye of leverage. This is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. They try to do everything alone. Jim taught me that success is never a solo game. It's built on leverage, time, tools, systems, people. The eye of leverage allows you to see resources that most people overlook. You stop trading time for money. You start trading ideas for income. You stop trying to control everything. You start building systems that multiply your results. Think of it like this. If you push a car alone, it moves slow. But if you build a motor, it drives itself. Leverage is that motor. And most people never see it because they're stuck doing things the hard way. Open this eye and you'll see partnerships, technology, knowledge, and passive income in a whole new light. Eye 6. The eye of emotions. This one is subtle but powerful. Jim used to say, the walls we build to protect ourselves often become the prisons that trap us. The eye of emotions is the ability to recognize how fear, guilt, shame, or pride affect your financial decisions? Ask yourself, do you spend to impress others? Do you avoid investing because you fear failure? Do you undercharge your work because you don't feel worthy? All of these are emotional traps, and they keep more people broke than any economic crisis ever has. When you open this eye, you begin to observe your reactions. You pause before acting. You train yourself to move with purpose, not with panic. You stop being ruled by emotion, and you start ruling your emotion. This is what Jim meant when he talked about personal development. It's not just about reading books. It's about mastering your inner world, because that's where your financial life begins. Now, we've unlocked 6 powerful eyes. And if you've made it this far, you're not just watching, you're transforming. In the next chapter, we go deeper. I'll show you the eyes that reveal risk, discipline, and relationships. The hidden engines of long-term wealth. Let's keep going. Chapter 6, Eyes 7 to 9. Risk, discipline, and relationships. Eye 7, the eye of risk. Jim once said, if you're not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. That hit me hard because for a long time, I avoided risk like it was the enemy. But in reality, risk is neutral. What matters is how you see it. The eye of risk isn't about gambling. It's about calculated courage. It's about asking, what's the worst that could happen? And what's the best that might happen if I dare? Most men stay broke not because they fail, but because they never start. They wait for certainty. They wait for perfect timing. They wait for permission. But wealth doesn't grow in safety. It grows in decision. When you open this eye, you stop fearing failure and start fearing stagnation. You realize that avoiding risk is the biggest risk of all. Eye 8, the eye of discipline. This one is unglamorous, but vital. Jim said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Most people think discipline is punishment. I used to think that, too. But when I finally saw it for what it truly is, freedom in disguise, my entire life changed. Discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being consistent with the small things that build big results. It's waking up earlier. It's saying no to unnecessary spending. It's reading when others scroll. It's investing when others waste. You don't need motivation when you have discipline, because discipline keeps moving even when motivation disappears. When you open this eye, your life becomes simpler, clearer, more powerful. You trade chaos for clarity, and chaos is the enemy of wealth. Eye 9, the eye of relationships. No one builds success alone, and Jim knew this better than anyone. He taught that your income will rarely exceed the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's not just about money. It's about mindset. The eye of relationships helps you see which people are lifting you up and which are holding you back. Are you surrounded by visionaries or victims, builders or blamers? This eye helps you choose wisely. You start building a circle of trust, growth, and accountability, because energy is contagious. Beliefs are contagious, and your network is your net worth. Once I opened this eye, I stopped explaining myself to people who didn't understand growth. I started connecting with people who made me think bigger, act bolder, and dream clearer. And I've never looked back. Now we've opened 9 of the 12 eyes. You've seen vision, value, time, money flow, leverage, emotions, risk, discipline, and relationships. But the final 3 eyes are the most powerful of all. They govern the long-term game. The legacy, the impact. Let's open them now. Chapter 7. Eyes 10 to 12. Legacy, ownership, and truth. Eye 10. The eye of legacy. Jim used to ask, what will they say about you when you're gone? That question struck me because for years I was so focused on survival that I never stopped to ask myself, what am I building beyond me? The eye of legacy doesn't just see the next paycheck. It sees the next generation. It's the ability to think beyond your lifetime, to realize that your decisions today echo into the lives of your children, your community, and even strangers you'll never meet. When you open this eye, money stops being about lifestyle and starts being about leadership. You start asking, am I building assets that last? Am I teaching values that empower? Am I living in a way that others can follow? Because real wealth isn't just about accumulation. It's about contribution. Eye 11, the eye of ownership. This is the eye most men avoid, but it's the one that separates the average from the exceptional. Jim said, you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. The eye of ownership is brutal at first, but freeing forever. It's the ability to say, I am responsible for my financial condition. No one owes me. No one's coming to save me. It's on me. That mindset changed everything for me. I stopped blaming the economy. I stopped waiting for help. I started taking control. And when you open this eye, you stop being a victim and start becoming a visionary. You realize that your future is not written by chance, but by choice. Every decision you make becomes a brick, and brick by brick, you build the house where freedom lives. I-12. The eye of truth. This is the final and most powerful eye because all the others depend on it. The eye of truth sees things as they are, not as we wish they were. It sees the lies we tell ourselves. I don't have time. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not good with money. This is just the way things are. Jim taught that honesty with yourself is the beginning of all transformation. When you open this eye, you stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop hiding behind your history. You confront your patterns, your fears, your habits. And in that confrontation, you find freedom. The truth hurts, but it heals. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. This is where real wealth begins. Not in the bank, but in the mirror. Now you've opened all 12 eyes. Vision, value, time, flow, leverage, emotions, risk, discipline, relationships, legacy, ownership, and truth. Each one unlocks a deeper layer of who you can become. And together, they form a new way of seeing that Jim lived by and passed on to a man like you and me. Chapter 8. Final shift. The moment that changes everything. Now that your eyes are open, you have a choice. You can go back to your old way of seeing, back to the noise, the rush, the excuses, or you can stay here in this new vision and start building something real. Jim used to say, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. And you're better right now. Because you see what most men will never stop long enough to notice. You see that wealth is not a lottery. It's a pattern, a practice, a mindset. You see that freedom doesn't come from wishing, it comes from working. You see that you don't need to be perfect. You need to be awake. These 12 eyes, they're not theories. They're tools. And every time you use them, you cut through the fog. You move with purpose. You stop chasing and start choosing. Look around. Most men are running blind. Most men think they're stuck because of their income when it's their insight that's lacking. But not you. Because you've seen what Jim saw. You've seen that the greatest wealth isn't money. It's clarity. Clarity of purpose, clarity of values, clarity of direction. And once a man sees clearly, he becomes unstoppable. So what now? Now you apply it. You act. You speak less and build more. You study more and spend less. You invest deeper in yourself and watch your life expand around you. And whenever you feel lost, overwhelmed, or discouraged, come back to this. Rewatch this video, review the 12 eyes, and remember what Jim said. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Become him. If this video spoke to you, hit that like button, leave a comment telling me which of the 12 eyes hit you the hardest, and subscribe to the channel because we're just getting started. You've opened your eyes. Now,